Now this is a console that has never left my mind. Let's revisit it. It's time for Nintendo64.
Hi everyone, this is Leo Siron from the Gaming Generation, and it's been quite a while since I last talked about retro gaming, I believe. Thus today I want to point out my top 5 Nintendo 64 games. Now this machine is probably still my favorite gaming console of all times. Yes, I had so many good experiences with it, and when I turn it on even nowadays, I am sure to have a lot of fun. So let's start. Number 5 is Mario Kart 64. Yeah, this game feels really solid, you know. Among all Mario Kart games I played, the physics of this one really makes you feel the carts, their weight, and the shells are really fast and trustworthy, you know, unless the red shells go towards walls, and of course, but if that doesn't happen, the red shell is really fast and it will hit the target. It's amazing. Of course, like all Mario Kart games, this one can be a bit frustrating at times. And it makes me wonder sometimes why I put it in the list. But either way, I had so many good multiplayer moments with it that it's all worth. It makes it all worth. Yeah, kinda, sorta. I think. Let's move on, okay? Number 4 is Star Fox 64. This game is amazing. Yes, the world of Star Fox is really cool. I love anthropomorphic animal characters, like the ones in Star Fox. And the speeches in the game make everything so much more lively. I started playing Star Fox when I first started studying English. It was about the same time, and hearing the characters really helped me develop my English sense, and it was amazing because I could really experience fully the world while discovering a new language. And of course, I've spoken up until now without mentioning that the gameplay is really tight and it's really fun. Even though it's a on-rail shooter somehow in a way, I played the levels like 1,000 times, and every time it's a different experience. It's amazing. It allows me, even to this day. I played this for almost 20 years. I played this game. 20 fucking years, and it still amazes me. And sometimes I even hear new speeches that I haven't heard before. It's really weird and really cool. The Star Fox has really made an impact in my life through all that. And man, the story, I remember the first time I faced up against Andros, I had the chills, man. I was like 7 years old and I was just really afraid. But I fought him and I won, and it was really a sense of accomplishment. And the final scenes when you actually find Fox Father, it's moving, man. This game is complete. It's the complete package. I don't like shooters in general, but Star Fox is a big exception. Yes, totally. Now for number 3, Super Smash Bros. Now, I think I already told the story of the first time I played this game in another video, but I'm gonna talk about it again briefly here. I went out with some friends and friends of a friend of mine, and after going to the cinema we went back into my house and somebody had the cartridge for this game. They plugged it on the Nintendo 64 and I was in love at first sight. Really strongly in love. That game, I didn't know it existed up until that point. I was too little to keep on with the media, and there was no internet, you know. I think there was, but it was really weak back then. And we played with some friends, we were playing and I was in love. Then my father, which was already divorced from my mother, went into my house and he said, "Okay, this is the weekday where you should sleep over my house, son." And I really didn't want to go away from Smash Brothers. And I started crying and crying because they wanted to stay there and play more. Of course, I'm sorry about my father, but he's got a little disappointed, but he let me stay home and play more Smash Brothers. And up to today I love the Smash Brothers 64 a lot. Of course, my favorite one of the series is Melee. If you know me, you know that. But the series is really strong all over the world, and I have this experience with Smash Bros. 64 and many other experiences after that that made this game really stick with me, and I love it to this day. Yes, Super Smash Bros. Now for number 2. I don't want to repeat franchises here, thus I will only put one of the Zelda games on the list. The one I choose is Majora's Mask. Now, both Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time are amazing games. But the main reason I chose Majora is because you can replay each individual experience of the game over and over without having to start a new save file. You know, the 3-day experience, the mechanic of the 3-day cycle, which you reset each time you play the Song of Time, makes it that you can really go to the quests over and over and over, so it's really easy to play the parts of the game you really enjoy more than once, you know. I prefer Ocarina of Time's story. I prefer the Ocarina of Time's villain, which is Ganondorf. I also like Majora's Mask, but I think Ganondorf is way cooler. I prefer Adult Link over Child Link. Many things in Ocarina of Time are things that I prefer, but I played Ocarina of Time way less because after you beat that game, of course, exploring the world just by walking around is amazing, but I really wanted to relive some fights, you know, redo some stuff without having to start it all over, and I couldn't. Thus I played Majora's Mask instead, you know, and that's why Majora's Mask makes it just a little further than Ocarina of Time in my list. Now for the number 1, which is not only my favorite Nintendo 64 game, but is my favorite game of all times, and that's Super Mario 64. And you know, that game brings us a liberty of moving around that no other games brings. Yeah, seriously, not even Breath of the Wild does. Because with Mario, you can jump, somersault, fly with the wing cap after shooting yourself from a cannon. You know, there are so many possibilities there. Koopa's shell surfing, it's amazing. I recently started developing a wheel to train tech skills in that game because you can really do crazy stuff. And the level designs are like open world little sandboxes where you can do amazing things. You can go anywhere you want. Throw bombs at Goombas, avoid shifting sand, go into tornadoes. You do so much. The newer Mario games feel so more limited than that. I can't believe it, it's a real big deception of mine with the newest Mario games. They feel so much more limited than Mario 64. Of course, I must say that I haven't played Mario Odyssey. From what I heard, Mario Odyssey is back on track. With all I say Mario 64 does, Odyssey is sad to do as well. But I'm talking about up to Wii U Super Mario 3D World Marios and the ones that came in between them. Mario Sunshine was really good, but toned down a little bit on your movement options. Mario Galaxy toned even a little more down your movement options, and the world exploration became way more linear in Galaxy 1 and 2, with just some sandbox levels that where you couldn't really do a lot of stuff compared to Super Mario 64. The Super Mario 64 is a really solid game with tight gameplay and new power-ups for the Mario franchise, some of which have never come back. Where is the wing cap, friends. It's the most amazing power-up Mario's ever had. It's really fun to fly around with Mario. Why that hasn't happened again? Of course you can fly in Super Mario Galaxy with one of their power-ups, but it's not the same thing. I repeat, it's not the same thing, because in Mario Galaxy you fly so slowly. In Mario 64 you really feel like the wind is blowing on Mario, you know. I have so many memories with Mario 64 playing up at late hours at night. One night I played it when it was so late that I fell asleep, and when I wake up, Mario was sleeping. You know, when you keep Mario idle for too long in that game, he starts sleeping. And I wake up to see Mario sleeping. He was sleeping at the same time I was. It's just a little funny story. But, you know, that's it for today, my friends. I am kinda overexcited when I talk about a Nintendo 64, but I tried to tone it down for this video. I hope I managed to do that. Which are your favorite Nintendo 64 games, friends? Tell us in the comments. Like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, because we from the gaming generation have a lot of gaming content to share with you. Stay tuned, my friends, and until next time, Siron out, and thanks for watching.
Doing everything in a single take, because the battery is dying. No sir, you don't, you naughty little boy. Everything's trying to break here. It's time for Nintendo 64.